That segment, we're going to look at, we'll talk about the water plant a little bit and some other things in Oak Ridge.
Please.
We got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds to tell me why the Republicans are winning baseball games when the Democrats used to win them all. Did their pitcher get beat, the guy that beat y'all?
Their pitcher left and went with the administration. He was a great athlete, Cedric Richmond, but we've got tremendous
Those big
talent.
Texas boys can play.
They all can play. They're great guys. I got the MVP. The team deserved MVP.
Yeah, that was symbolic because you're symbolic. See you next week.
Good evening and welcome to the locker room. Caught us off guard. And
Didn't catch
think
me.
she did that on
No,
purpose,
she did
didn't you?
not. I was looking straight ahead. I
Were
heard
you?
her say, "Here we go." When you was one, yak 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 yak.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Welcome to the locker room. Glad to have you with us tonight.
who you rooting for? Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, what are you talking about?
They got the green on that orange screen.
No, that's not ours.
I'm big orange, buddy. I'm ready to go. It's football time.
Well,
I'm glad to be back. Thanks for saying
But
that.
the difference is, you just wear a shirt that somebody gives you, and then all you want to do is down them all the time.
I ain't wear a shirt the way give me. I got this
So-
somewhere. I don't even remember where it's
Yeah,
at.
that's exactly
But
my
I got
point.
the
Yeah.
shirt, and it's. I'm glad to have it on. I'm glad to be here tonight, and it won't be long before football. If Dooley can keep him out of jail, and that's the thing. I don't know if he can keep him out of jail.
Well,
He's got some problems.
All the attorneys in Knoxville are on alert.
They're on
This
alert.
summer.
They're on retainer. They're on this summer, and they're on it. But congratulations to the Coalfield Lady Yellow Jackets. I believe that's right, ain't it? Yellow Jackets is right, ain't it?
Great, great
Softball,
run.
great run in softball. Won a couple games down there. Fell a
We
couple
talked
games.
about that last week.
I know you did. Fell a couple games short. Well, at the time we didn't know. I didn't know they were out though at the time. I don't think. But they fell a couple games short, and
and the
just
first games they've won.
in the first games they've won. But just congratulations to them for a good season, and
Just sort of put the icing on the cake for Faddock, didn't
yeah. What you wind up with 1,900 and some
it?
strikeouts.
1,920 something.
1,920 some strikeouts. Brad is blowing that phone up, man.
Is he?
Yeah.
Anyway, she's on her way to Marshall, and the word that for a while there was, the rumor was that the catcher might be getting to go with her to Marshall. Boy, that'd be a great thing.
1925. Brad's saying
So-
there. And so you say the catcher might be
Well,
going to Marshall with her?
that was where I heard one place that they might be offering her to go as well. And she's part of that that combination now.
He's saying third. I guess does that mean they finished third in the state? Is that what he's telling? Is that what he's trying to tell me?
I guess.
I don't know. Maybe he just needs to call in the show and clarify stuff. I don't know what he's talking about.
But great. It was a great run. Enjoyed watching her, and got to do a perfect game with her. Wow.
Well, it's just a small school, small community, and to come out of there with that state, that's a state record that will be hard for somebody to touch.
That's an eighth grader.
That's an eighth, so that's going to be one thing. But man, you only get them players once in a lifetime, and I'm sure that coach down there has really, enjoyed having her for 5 years.
Because
I can tell you as much. I'd be saying I enjoyed her.
if you take somebody, some place like Gibbs that goes every year,
Yeah.
wins a lot of. When you started adding 3 to 5 extra games a year, that's over a 4-year period. You're right off the bat, you're playing a lot more games than most teams, so you got that opportunity for obviously more strikeouts, and that's one of the ways that she's accumulated hers. Coach Lauren Dean does a great job over there, her and her husband, and it's a classy program.
Yeah, and they even stepped the program up a little bit this year, a little bit more. I think they traveled around, played a little bit,
Yeah.
played some AAA schools,
Big tournaments.
played some big tournaments, did won some games in those tournaments.
In fact,
so
most of their losses.
congratulations to them.
Most of their losses came against those 3A schools in those,
Sure
in those
did.
tournaments. But also, while we're on softball, congrats to the Lady Vols making their trip back to the World Series. And let me just go ahead and throw this out right off the bat. When you want to talk about coaches over there for Lady Vols sports, I think Karen and Ralph Weekly probably have done more for the Lady Vols athletic department in the last 10 years
Are you all right?
than anybody has. Look what they started with. They started with a program that was nothing. And in softball, you don't have the liberty of playing the schedule that the basketball gals have played across the country the last 10 years, because in softball, there are probably 25 teams that can win. In basketball, we've narrowed it down. You have a hard time to get to 15. So hats off to the Weeklies. That's a program
Lord
where
have
the
mercy.
coaching staff has really, really excelled. Hats off to you. Good
But,
luck. Good luck at the World Series.
You started off, and I think, well, there's something wrong with you, but you can't, talking about the Lady Vols, and then you want to bash the basketball schedule.
Didn't bash anybody.
Well, you did too.
No, I just said
Congratulations to them, and what else have you got to say about the program? Or I guess you're glad Dave Hart's fired everybody over there too.
Oh, I don't think Dave Hart's done anything that anyone should be surprised about. I mean, when Joan Cronin was hired for a year to oversee bringing somebody in to consolidate the programs, it's pretty easy to consolidate when you got somebody that's been there 35 years thinking that they're going to run the program. Easy. See you later.
Now, what do you mean by
Adios.
that? What
Adios.
do you mean by that? 35 years it's going to run the program. I don't understand. They
Well, I
didn't
mean-
run the program.
Well, I mean, the emails
Joe Cronin run the program.
that the Jennings lady kept writing back and forth.
Well, she said if what she, and I've not seen the emails. Maybe you've got an inside source. I don't think nobody's seen the emails.
Sure, they were in the paper.
Well, I've
Several of
not.
them
I've not seen them.
Well, I mean, they were in the
Anyway,
paper.
I'll need to check. Go back and read my paper then. But I've not seen it. But anyway, then if what is being said, then Dave Hart gave Pat Summitt a couple options. She could retire.
Pat Summitt?
Pat Summitt, because the Jennings girl says that Pat Summitt was given some ultimatums that she would not be the coach next year, and she could take this job or she would be terminated or she could retire. Now, come on. You got a lady that spent 38 years over there that's built one of the.
Do you think
Oh,
there's
time
any
out.
validity to
Time out.
that?
I don't know whether there is or not. Now wait. Okay, then if there's not, then why? If there is not, why would some lady that's been there 35 years be as to go way out on the ledge so far to write to write that in an email supposedly that everybody says? I don't understand.
Well, I didn't see that in an email.
Well, that's what they said.
What was in the email was-
that she objected to Dave Hart that he'd give her an ultimatum that she would not be back as coach. So if that's the case, then I thought the guy would come in and do a pretty good job. Still might. Okay. He still
What her
might.
email said
but if he
was-
did that,
No, what
he
her
did
email-
that. You're taking an icon. You're taking a lady that's got 38 years.
That's right.
That started the basketball
That's
program. That's got 8 banners hanging over there. That's for national championships and for all these SEC championships and everything else she's done. I mean, come on. If that's the scenario if that's a scenario,
Okay, that's
if
not the
that's
scenario.
true, why we got him over there?
Well,
I
because
mean, I don't understand. They ought to
what her
run him
email
off.
said was, I understand that you are letting Pat Summitt go tomorrow as the head coach of the Lady Vols basketball team. May I suggest that you change your mind, because this lady deserves more than this. She's been here 38 years. This is discriminatory, blah, 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 blah. Now, Dave Hart is probably a pretty smart man, pretty good businessman.
I thought he might have been.
Now, first of all, I'm sure that Dave Hart has sat down with Pat Summitt and gone over, and probably with her son, and has talked about at the end of the year where she was with her illness, where she was with her energy levels, where she was with how she wanted to end her career. If Dave Hart was going to do that to Pat Summitt, then Holly Warwick probably isn't the head coach. He probably goes out and does a national search. It's just like here in the last couple of days, the media has wanted to get something started with Dave Hart over the Lady Vols brand, their logo, and even over the fact that Dave Hart said he was going to remove Summitt's name from the gym floor. Those are absurd.
But I agree with you. I don't think, first of all, if he took the name.
Neither of those is gonna happen.
If he took the name off the floor, I think there would be a riot over there and there wouldn't be enough police officers to protect him. Or you'd have to get the National Guard in. Second of all, don't most SEC schools, I mean, and I don't know where the difference in the logo being, the only thing I think the difference in the logo is it says Lady Vols, and some of those logos is a powder looking blue instead of a power.
They don't have the power T.
They don't have the power T. So you change the power T, but still yet they'd be, it wouldn't just be the Vols, it'd be the Lady, I mean, there still would be recognized as
but
the Lady
they're
Vols.
the only school
Just
in
like,
the
yeah,
SEC
but all the
that
others-
has two logos.
It might be, but still yet, if you did combine it, it would still be Lady Vols because all the other schools have it's whether
Well, they
you're
just
talking-
call them Lady Bulldogs or
Lady
Lady.
right, Lady Vols.
So, well, but what I'm
Lady
saying
Vols.
is they have their own logo.
Yeah, but now let me go back to the Jennings girl.
Which is a pretty good business venture, because what it does is it gives you an opportunity to sell another set of shirts, another set of merchandise.
Sounds to me
Now,
that's pretty
the only
smart.
thing that probably, that if anyone is wanting to change, is it's probably to change the blue. That's the only place
Well,
where blue is involved.
Isn't there a little bit of blue though on the men's side in basketball? Just a little
there's
bit,
been
maybe.
some, I think
little
there's been some black,
black,
and
and
maybe.
But
black.
now, didn't the Jennings lady also say that she didn't know, she had just found out, and she's supposed to be Pat Summitt's public relations director and didn't know nothing about any of this?
yeah.
She didn't know anything about
Yeah.
it. That's a low blow, ain't it?
Well, I think by that time,
Well,
Hart had already made his decision that she was no longer going to be part of the program because of all of the emails and backstabbing that was going on with her.
now wait a minute. You don't know if there's any backstabbing
I'm just
going on.
I'm just
You're
saying
just
that-
reading it in the paper.
Well,
and
the
I actually
emails
got
are
wait.
there.
You
The
just
emails are there.
got on me about saying what I might have saw in the paper. You said, "Well, now
Well,
wait
the
a minute.
emails.
Now wait a minute."
Well.
Same thing. Still yet she's in the
Well.
she's in the midst with Jenny
Let me
Moshak.
just say
she's in the
this.
midst with Jenny Moshak and some other lady. They've got a lawsuit, got some pending lawsuits for equal pay
fire
with the
them away.
guys.
Fire 'em
They
away.
won't fire Jenny Moshak.
No, what I'm saying is there probably were 25 lawyers that all of this went through before Bud Ford was released, before Jennings was released, and if you'll notice, Jennings' lawyer came back and said, hey, maybe we just need to meet at the table and discuss this. There's probably a way we can handle this. They don't want to go. They're not
Write
going
her a
to go to
check.
court. Yeah,
now,
that's what he's wanting.
and me and you talked before
That's
we
what
came
he's
on.
wanting.
Now, Bud Ford might have a legitimate. Now wait just a minute before you just go saying that. He's got a signed contract, which I think is a little bit different.
Again,
He's got a contract
again,
for a year's worth of work.
Dave Hart's not going to make a move like that
Didn't.
without getting some of the legal staff to sign off.
Wouldn't think that he would, but you can't never tell. He might. So, but anyway, that's just some things going on over there. So, and the way some of the assistant coaches were dismissed. I mean, Holly Warwick didn't tell them, and now she's had to go, catch that one, and it said they had to meet somewhere, and she had to apologize to her, and come on, this was a girl that was in the Lady Vol program, but apparently Pat Summitt took her position.
Right.
And that's where so I mean, I understand some of this stuff, but I don't know.
Hey, change
Maybe
stuff.
maybe
Change stuff.
maybe they should have just with Pat having the title that she's got, I would maybe they should have just made Pat an associate athletic director and kept her, like you said, as long as she wanted to have an office there, let her keep it. As long as she's able to come in.
And, you know, when you're paying
let
her
her be
$500,000,
well-
you got to somebody's got to go. Now she
Well-
could have said, "Hey, I don't need a $500,000.
Well,
Let's keep them."
She
She
could,
didn't do that.
She could have.
Okay.
Well, I don't. Maybe she didn't know to say that. Maybe, you know, maybe somebody else was looking out for her, and maybe she didn't have a clue. But
Maybe you're right.
I don't know. But just man, there's just been some underhanded
I don't think it's underhanded.
things go on over there.
I think it
You
was
know, it's
all
just really
known.
been underhanded.
No, I think
you know,
it's all
and
been
now you got to
known.
remember now, Dave Hart's from Alabama. He's an Alabama guy, and he's come up here and he's ruffled some feathers. Even though I don't, and I think everybody knew that there were some jobs that were going to overlap. There's going to be some positions that
Where's
were going to
Joan
be.
Cronin been during all this?
Well, Joan Cronin's been gone. She's gone. She
Oh,
retired.
She was there for a year. She was
she-
there for a year.
She was there for a year,
Joan Cronin
and
ought to
did
be
help.
coming back and saying something.
but she's not, is she?
Hadn't said a word.
Probably,
Don't-
probably wrote her a big check, and she's rode off in the moonlight. To the sunset, I'll say the moonlight. How about that?
Hadn't
But
heard
anyway, you get on the Vol softball coaches and
I'm
give
not
them all these get on them all these accolades. Then you go over and the Lady Vols this and the Lady Vols this, and the reason that all this that we're keeping all these programs afloat over there is what the Lady Vols are selling in merchandise is helping out with all the stuff that we've had to go
You're-
through football and basketball and
you're
everything.
exactly
So
right.
That's where
Those
see,
$5
that's-
tickets from the Lady Vols
$5.
have
We did
saved
not-
the program.
We did not
Saved
mention.
the
Hey, hold on a minute. We mentioned no $5 tickets, but
and-
we mentioned merchandise.
No, because at one time we were giving them away.
Oh, boy.
Bring a
We
can of
ju-
food and
no,
get in.
We do that to fair sometimes.
You know, go by the pilot and get you a big drink
Now hold on
and a
just
moon
second.
pie, and you get
hold
to
on,
come
hold on
in.
a minute. Where did you get ticket and merchandise being the same thing?
Oh, that's the way they used.
Lord
That's the way you
have
used to get
mercy,
in.
Barry.
That's the way you used to get in.
I've not been around you in about 3 weeks and ain't nothing changed. So
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
move on to something a little bit more interesting. What's more dear to our heart other than high school football? Practically nothing. We're
Practically
dear
nothing.
high school football.
But now that we've got all that straight, Coach Weekly, good luck.
yeah, I agree.
Bring back a big trophy and.
How long? You know how long they've been the coach? You know how long they've been co-head coaches? Yeah,
you mean?
at Tennessee. Do you
at
know? Is it
Tennessee?
about 10 years?
No, it hadn't been that long.
It's not. Well, you know, this is their 5th trip to the World Series.
Right.
A second and some thirds, I think. I'd like to see them win it, even though I think they might be going out being the 3rd best team or the 4th best team going out there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Oklahoma,
Alabama.
Alabama, and those, and which Arizona State's there,
Of course,
which
they
is the
split with
defending champ.
Alabama this year, so they could.
But
be-
as me and you talked on the phone earlier today, if I'm a rising young
you
lady,
shouldn't have said that. That might be a violation of the sunshine.
no, I ain't on no commission with you or anything. I can talk about what I want to. No, just thinking, we were talking about it, and I think this is really interesting. If you look, we're dominating football. The SEC's dominate, winning the national championship. I ain't talking about Tennessee. We
okay.
ain't got there yet.
Okay.
We're dominating. The SEC's dominating
Okay.
on winning the national championships. You know, whether it's been Florida, Alabama, or LSU.
6 in a row.
We're dominating, okay? Just dominate. Now, Kentucky's won the SEC, and Florida had won some previous, so, you know, there's pretty much a powerhouse there. Now we're, you know, baseball. I think it was South Carolina last year that won it. Florida's the #1 team going in.
Back-to-back, South
Back-to-backs
Carolina.
winning. So now Florida's the #1 going in this year, I think. Now this year in ladies softball, in the past there's been maybe 1 school there or 2 schools. Now we've got 3 schools there. It just seems to me like track just seems to me like that the SEC is the school you want to go to, because if you want to play for a national championship, go to an SEC school, and you've probably got a pretty good chance of playing, and you're going to be playing probably against some of the best competition in the world.
That's why the SEC probably will. I'm not going to say dictate, but the SEC will have a big, strong hand in this playoff system.
Well, you know,
And by the way, the playoff system is a couple votes, couple days away from
Yeah.
being in there.
I know you're
think
saying
we
that.
talked about it
We
right
did.
here.
We did talk about it right here, but I don't know that it's a done deal
Oh,
though,
it's done.
because there's still some
It's-
there's still some argument, and the argument is 4 or 8 teams, and then there's still some argument that the people with the Rose Bowl don't want to be included in
but
it.
I think you'll
now,
see
what
it
do you
starting
think
off with
about
4 teams.
what do you think about the SEC cutting a deal with was it the Big 12?
To do what?
To have that game, that one bowl game to be,
Right.
I mean, like they're going to counter,
And
they're going to counter the Rose Bowl.
And my point to you is, the SEC will have enough clout with any of the networks to get it done. Now, one of the big sticklers is, you know, that how to figure out a way to get the conference champs, which if you go back to last year would have eliminated Alabama by not being a conference champion.
Right.
So that's the other big thing. But the SEC will have more clout at the table than anyone. And Friday, when the SEC presidents vote on the basketball schedule and some of these other things, I think the picture will become clear about this playoff thing. But as much and the other thing is, wait till the SEC. Wait till those checks are dispersed about Friday afternoon. It'll be staggering, and there's no other conference that can come close. So what you've got is a lot of these commissioners from other conferences are probably huddling somewhere with old Slive down in Destin tonight and tomorrow night, trying to figure out how can we piggyback what you've done. So the SEC will have
So my point
a lot of
being,
clout.
the SEC's pretty strong right now in all sports. So, you know,
But
kudos.
the playoff is coming.
Well, no, I agree with you. It's coming. I sat here and argued a few months ago. I didn't think it would come as quick as it's going to
Too
come.
much money, Dave.
I understand that. I don't know that it'll be next year. It's probably going to be the year.
But that's
It'll
about
be a
as
couple
quick
years.
as you can
Be
get
a
it.
couple years, and I thought it would be 4. I really didn't think. Here's what I really didn't think when you said the big powerhouse conferences down. I mean, you got to count them all. I mean, in there that nobody could be on, that everybody wouldn't get on the same page. I don't think it's fair that everybody doesn't have a conference championship game.
Well,
That's
and they'll
me.
get left behind.
Well,
They'll
they might get left behind, but still, yeah. See, that's what they're wanting. They're trying to, because if you don't play for a conference and you just win it outright, that's a little bit different and have to go play that extra game and win it.
That's right.
Because I just think that
And
you
that's
got
why,
to.
and that's why the Big Ten finally saw the light. Now the Pac-10, or whatever it is now, you know, they saw the light. So,
Well,
it's going to be it's just going to be a matter now of crossing a few T's, dotting a few I's, and Slive will be at the head of the table dictating, because he's probably already conference called his presidents and got approval to go whichever direction he wants to go. So, because when you start cashing the kind of checks, if you're the chancellor at Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Kentucky,
It's probably
man
made
alive,
that's their
your
whole-
budget.
that's their whole budget.
That's your budget.
That's their budget.
So yes, sir, we're with you.
Now, I'm still not sold on the two additions, Missouri and Texas A&M. I'm not sold on those two being in the SEC. Man, I was in Missouri the other day. That's a long ways to be for an SEC.
Well, it
game.
is, but it's
And
look at
Texas
the
A&M,
markets that are out there.
There are a lot of markets, and I understand that's one reason they went there.
And now all of a sudden you can go back to ESPN, to CBS, and say, you know, guys, we've just added an extra 23 million homes on Saturday afternoon, you know, to SEC, to our contract that we have. You know, we need to amend our contract.
And the weeklies are in their 11th season. I know we're going to talk high school. I didn't know if you was going to take a break before we do.
Yeah, we need to take a break. We'll come back and talk about our high school football schedule and lots of other things right after this.
There's only one thing better than owning a Simplicity lawn tractor or zero-turn mower, and that's purchasing it at your neighborhood Simplicity dealer. It's like getting a free outdoor power equipment expert who will help you select, operate, and maintain your equipment for years to come. So visit your local Simplicity dealer today and get a free expert with every purchase.
For all your ball, Reno's has it all. Reno Sporting Goods offers the top name brands and the latest technology for every team athlete. Every day, we've given you 25 years of experience in our work. Come to Reno.
If it's a private or business lunch you're after, the answer is simple. Rockwood Street Grill. If it's a family affair that you want to enjoy, the answer is simple. Rockwood Street Grill. If it's a cozy sweetheart dinner, the answer is simple. Rockwood Street Grill. Even if it's a banquet or catering event, the answer is still Rockwood Street Grill. Just give them a call at 354-8298 or ease by at 215 West Rockwood Street in downtown Rockwood.
Hi, I'm Terry. Just call or come by, and our staff will treat you to an enjoyable meal that I'm sure will make you want to come back.
You demand good old-fashioned service from your pharmacy, and at Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood, we not only give you great hometown service, but we treat you like our family. Live and Let Live Drugstore is now your source for great candy by the pound, too. Live and Let Live is also a great place for Time and Again candles and wax burner, Elizabeth Arden cosmetics and fragrances, Walter Powell hand-carved birds, and Contented Heart handmade soaps, lip balms, herbal teas, and more. We also have great gift baskets that can be made to order.
Visit us at Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood. Let us be your hometown pharmacy.
Since 1891, Chase Drugs has served Harriman and the surrounding area in downtown Harriman. Well, now Chase Drugs has a second location in Midtown at the Physicians Plaza. Chase Drugs will offer the same services as their downtown location, as well as prescription drug compounding, and they've added a convenient pharmacy drive-through. Also, you can pick up your refills at whichever location is most convenient to you. Can't make it to the pharmacy? Ask about our free delivery service. Chase Drugs, one pharmacy, two locations. Trusted care from the people you know.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We buy it on the spot and we pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Well, welcome back to the locker room, and tonight will be our last show until July. We'll take the month of June off and get rested up and get a running start on high school football. And our schedule, we think we've got a dandy for you. Week 0, we will have CAK at Anderson County. CAK coming off of a state championship season. Anderson County reloading, retooling.
We'll be there all night.
So we'll be there. It'll be a long night.
Well, both teams like to throw the ball around, and
What will the over-under be on passes?
I'd name it. It could be high. I don't know. It'll be up there.
I'd say somewhere in the high 80s to mid 90s.
Yeah, I mean, and isn't the quarterback at CAK, the high kid, he's back.
He's back.
So we're going to have. I mean, it's going to be, and I can't think of his name. His son, the guy that does weather on Channel 10. His son will be a senior, Ted Hall.
Not Ted Hall. I thought he graduated.
No, he's still there.
He's still there?
Yeah, his son will be, I can't think of his name, but he'll be there. He's still there. I mean, that's going to be a high-octane game. That will be a wild game. That'll be a pass-a-thon.
It will.
It'll be a pass-a-thon.
Week 1, Kingston at Harriman. An old
Where
rivalry.
Is Kingston?
So that will be a game that that
we've had that game before, haven't we?
Had it most every year when it's Kingston at Harriman. We will have Grace at Rockwood, and that's a big ball game. So Grace this year eligible for the first time in 2 years, 3 years for the playoffs.
3 years.
So
I think I can get a police escort.
Grace at Rockwood, and that game, that's UT's first opening game against North Carolina State. That game may get moved to Thursday night. Don't know for sure, but either way, it will be Grace at Rockwood.
What a game!
Week 3, Rockwood at Kingston. Rockwood at Kingston, Week 3. So Coach Harrison and the administration at Kingston, we welcome the opportunity to go to Kingston and do the Rockwood at Kingston game. Then we're at Cofield, Oliver Springs at Cofield. A big rivalry game, good place to do football, and we will be there. for that football game. Upperman at Rockwood, Week 5. Upperman at Rockwood, Week 5. Week 6 will be AC at Oak Ridge. AC at Oak Ridge.
Wow.
Week 7, Oneida at Oliver Springs.
Wow.
That was a quarterfinal game last year.
Last year.
And went down to the wire.
Yeah.
Oneida returns about
23 starters.
And
22.
And the coach coming home.
And
Lambert coming home.
Tony Lambert coming home. We'll get the chance to chat with him.
Week 8, Grace Baptist out of Chattanooga at Harriman.
And that's the defending champs from. No, it's not. It's great. It wasn't great.
No,
who beat Oliver Springs last?
They have a good football team.
They have a good football team. Yes, they do. Grace and Harriman. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that was Friendship.
Friendship Christian one. Was it Christian?
I think so.
I believe so. Okay.
Week 9, Oak Ridge at Clinton. Oak Ridge at Clinton in a big rivalry game. And we'll end Week 10, Clinton at Anderson County. So 2 big rivalry games to end the season.
Wow,
so 11 ball games.
There are some rivalry games on there. And I tell you, I'm looking forward to the Coalfield game more than anything. I look forward to all of them. It's going to be the first time going there and actually doing TV, and I think it'll be neat for that community, neat for that school for us to be there, and I'm glad we're going to be able to do it, even though it's going to pose some, I mean, it's for Brad to pull that off, he's going to have to pull a rabbit out of his hat. So, and I think he can do it. But, you know, Rockwood's team, I think it's going to do very well this year, so it'd be interesting to see how Rockwood and Grace match up. I know the people in Rockwood like me. I know the people at Grace.
If you look at some of the schedules, you know, of course this is the second year in the contract, so we just reversed last year's schedule. So Oak Ridge opening up week 1, they do not play week 0. They're at Farragut, and then they're at Central, and they come home against Powell in their first home game. Then they go to Halls. Then they, of course, week 5 traditionally have Maryville. That's still there. Then Anderson County at home. Carnes will be homecoming. And that's October the 5th. Then they'll have Hardin Valley will be senior night, and then they're on the road the last 2 weeks at Clinton and at Campbell County. So another really good year in the works for Oak Ridge. You know, you look at Farragut, and Farragut down a little bit last year. Powell will be down some. Maryville will be Maryville. Hardin Valley loses the big running back. So it'll be interesting to see. Look for Oak Ridge, though, to have probably another banner year. And you know, Coach Blade has to be feeling more and more comfortable every year now, you know, that he's here. He started out coming in and not having a bad first year, but getting better and better. He's had an opportunity now to get his team more physical by the weight room. So now you know he's got to be just feeling more comfortable with his coaching staff, with everything. So I look for Oak Ridge to have another banner year. Clinton's a team that's really looking for a win under Coach Kerr, and you know this is a tough league when you have Halls, and then when you put people like Kingsport, Dobbins, Bennett on your schedule, that doesn't make life any easier. Then they're at Carnes. They're home against Hardin Valley. They go to Knox Central, Kentucky. They're at Campbell County. They're home against Knox Central. They go to Powell. Then they have an open date week 8, and then they finish Oak Ridge, and then on the road at Anderson County. So a pretty tough schedule again for Coach Kerr as he tries to right the ship in Clinton.
Yeah, I read some comments out of the Courier there after spring practice, and he said they really put a lot of emphasis on the running game, and you know they got their quarterback back that was sick half the year last year, which I think really hurt them a little bit. But still, yet you know they seem to be talking a pretty good game right now. We'll see what happens, but he was talking pretty highly of, and liked what he saw and what they had done in spring practice. So I think the jury's still out on him a little bit. Going back to Oak Ridge, I think this might be the year that Oak Ridge starts out fast instead of waiting toward the latter part of the year. But I think Oak Ridge might start out really fast this year because They're going to have a different version of quarterback this year. They're going to have a young man that can, not that the Zolliger kid couldn't do it, but they're going to have somebody that when he takes off, he can flat out go. And that's I can't think.
Number 10.
I can't think of his name, man. He's quick as a cat. It was on her. I mean, he can flat out scoot and he can go. So, Oak Ridge. This could be a good year for Oak Ridge. Clinton. Yeah, right now I'm like you. They'd like to win one game.
Okay. Anderson County. When you look at Anderson County, Coach Gullum's he's got to be scratching his head. CAK at Grace Christian, then Campbell County home, Knox Central home, at Powell, at Knox Halls, at Oak Ridge, Carnes at home, at Hardin Valley, and Clinton.
Did you say that he's playing at Grace Christian?
At Grace Christian.
Wow.
After CAK.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough schedule too, and that first game, Barry, they could throw the ball 100 times, really easy. I mean they really could. So, right there, I mean that's just
big schedule.
That's a big schedule.
Rockwood has Sequoia at home. They're at South Green. They have Grace Christian at home. They're at Kingston. They have Upperman at home, Harriman at home. They go to Greenback, Tellico Plains at home, and they go to Midway. So a schedule that Coach Webb, could like, and a couple key games as always on there for the Tigers. Harriman, they'll have Monterey at home, then Kingston at home, and then they'll go to Upperman. They'll go to Tellico Plains, also to Wartburg, at Rockwood. So 4 in a row on the road. Come back to take on Midway. Then they will have Grace Baptist Academy at home and Grace Christian at home, and then at Greenback. So Harriman Blue Devils, Coach Tapp looking again to get his ball team on the right track. You're on the air?
Yeah. What do you think about Farragut? This Farragut, don't they play Oak Ridge the first game?
They do. Well, it's week 1, so Farragut probably Farragut probably starts off week 0 and then has Oak Ridge the second game. But it's Oak Ridge's first game, week 1.
Don't they play with Farragut?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be better. Farragut playing Farragut.
I like Oak Ridge.
Farragut. Yeah. Okay, what do you think about UT? I believe they'll beat North Carolina, Georgia State, and they'll lose to Florida, and they'll beat Aiken, and I believe they'll beat Georgia. I believe they can beat Mississippi State, but Alabama they'll get beat. I believe they can beat South Carolina and Troy. Missouri.
So you like them about 8-4, 9-3?
About 8-4 or something like that, or 9-3.
Not happening.
Wow.
You
not happening.
And what's he shaking his head for?
Well, I'm shaking my head because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to beat South Carolina. I mean, that's a loss right there. So
yeah.
6. You can look at that schedule all you want to. 6-6 is about the best you can get out of it.
Well, that's the best you can get out of it. I can get better.
Farragut schedule. What do you think about the Farragut schedule? What do you think of?
Farragut might not win a game this year. I'd say Farragut's about a 6-4 ball club this year, maybe 6-4, 7-3. What do you think?
Yeah, they might. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a good day.
All right, see.
Okay, bye.
Hey, no, wait a minute now. Just hold on, man. I know we're talking high school, and he jumped us over to college. But you look at that schedule, Barry. It's questionable. 6-6, 7-4.
Well, you've got 4 possible out of conference games. Well, you got 4 right there.
There's just some things, and that there's just some games they've got to win, and week 2 here on Friday night after they've played. It's week 3 for us, but it'll be week 2 here when they've opened up with North Carolina State. I've already told Brad, if they lose that night, we'll need a replacement phone. We'll melt that phone right there. It'll get in your pocket. You'll have to buy us a new phone. We'll melt it.
We'll do something else.
Cans and string.
Kingston has.
Where is Kingston?
They open up at home against Oliver Springs, then go to Harriman, Scott County, home at with Rockwood, then they go to Stone Memorial. They're at Lenoir City. They're at Alcoa. They're home against McMinn Central. They go to CAK. They're open week 9, and then we'll be at home to finish up against Loudon. So Coach Harrison with a pretty tough schedule there coming in first season.
Is there some back steps I can get up in that press box?
Yes.
Or do I have to walk up?
You got to walk right up the front.
Okay.
gotta
Buddy,
walk
I
right
can
up
do
the
it.
front.
Where's it at? Do you know where it's at?
Yes, sir.
You have to meet me in town. I've never
Oliver
been there.
Springs. They're
Go
at
Bobcats.
Kingston. They're home against Greenback. They're home against Oakdale. They're at Sweetwater. They're at Cofield. They're at Jellicoe. Home against Oneida. They're at Sunbright. Home against Wartburg. And are home against Williamsburg, Kentucky. So Coach Brackett losing a ton of seniors. A really, really good senior class. So he's going to be on the lookout for some kids to step up this year. He's got what he does have coming back, though, is he's got some pretty good linemen. He's got probably an all-region, probably all-state candidate at linebacker. So he's got some kids coming back.
Oh, his cover's not bare. It's just not full like it has been. Here you got a little reload. By
Of course,
midway through
new quarterback coming in.
Midway through the season, Oliver Springs will be rolling.
Cofield, they're home against Pigeon Forge. Then they go to Cloudon. Then they're home at Sunbright. They go to Tellico Plains, have Oliver Springs at home. They're at Wartburg, home against Jellicoe. They're at Oneida, and they're at Cosby, and they're at Oakdale. So a couple big games there for Cofield to try to get back to that semifinal game.
I was told a guy that saw it says about some scrimmages and said they look pretty good, even though they lost a lot, but they look pretty good.
I had a chance to do the sub-state game down at South Pitt. They still are talking, about the Cofield. They came over here to Cofield last year and said Cofield had a pretty good football team. So
I was there for that game.
So that's teams around the area. Again, we think that
well, we're going to be going two new places this
year.
We're going to go to two new places.
Right.
Two places we've
I've
been to Kingston to see a football game before. We've never done a TV game at Kingston, and we've never done a TV game at Cofield. We have been at Cofield together just to watch a game down there, but we've never done one down there actually do a TV game, and it's going to be a neat experience because we'll be doing it outdoors.
Be exciting. Be exciting. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Beautiful yards make a statement. And beautiful yards come from Simplicity Mowers. Their exclusive free-floating mower decks with full-width rollers track the contours of your yard for a perfect cut. So visit your neighborhood Simplicity dealer today and start the conversation about your lawn. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
Since 1891, Chase Drugs has served Harriman and the surrounding area in downtown Harriman. Well, now, Chase Drugs has a second location in Midtown at the Physicians Plaza. Chase Drugs will offer the same services as their downtown location, as well as prescription drug compounding, and they've added a convenient pharmacy drive-thru. Also, you can pick up your refills at whichever location is most convenient to you. Can't make it to the pharmacy? Ask about our free delivery service. Chase Drugs, one pharmacy, two locations. Trusted care from the people you know.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
If you haven't visited the Live and Let Live drugstore lately, you're really missing a treat. The expanded gift shop has so many unique gift ideas, from glycerin soaps and candles to specialty gift boxes you can design. And they offer gift wrapping service too. The soda fountain is always a favorite, not to mention the candy counter where you can select fresh confections and buy as much or as little as you desire. If you need pharmacy services, the staff at Live and Let Live is always available to discuss your medications. Live and Let Live drugstore in downtown Rockwood, your hometown pharmacy and gift shop.
Beautiful yards make a statement. And beautiful yards come from Simplicity Mowers. Their exclusive free-floating mower decks with full-width rollers track the contours of your yard for a perfect cut. So visit your neighborhood Simplicity dealer today and start the conversation about your lawn. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
Reno Sporting Goods has what you need to play any team sport, and for almost 25 years, Reno's has provided uniforms, gear, and apparel for school teams and youth leagues across East Tennessee. Reno's, where our customers come first.
Welcome back to the locker room. And again, folks, tonight will be our last one till July. We'll take the month of June off and can't recruit. We can't tell you what all's going to be happening around then. But just I'm going to leave you with this thought tonight, though. Tennessee, 8-4. 8-4 for the Vols. So go ahead and place your bets. You know, that means that I've got them winning the four non-conference games. I've got them beating Vanderbilt. I've got them beating Kentucky, and two others. Take your pick.
Well, I'm going to leave you with this thought then, and don't go bad on them because it's 6-6. Don't
so
go
you're not
bad.
Going to pick 7-5.
I'm not going to pick 7-5.
So
I've been 6-6. I've been saying 6-6.
That's fine. Okay.
You know, and a lot will depend. And here's why I say 6-6. If they 7-5 is probably more realistic than your 8-4 in my mind.
What's one game? 8-4, 7-5.
It's one game. That's what the difference is. 7-5, 8-4 sounds a whole lot better. 7-5. No, I really think, and you don't think this game means anything. You think it's just another football game. It's not. I really think if Tennessee loses the North Carolina State game, it'll just be a domino effect for the rest of the year, and they'll lose some. Dooley could possibly.
Well, but once
first
again,
of all, Dooley will lose that team. He'll lose the Vol fan base, and he will be in trouble.
Well,
and I hate to see
again,
that because I think he's a good coach. I think this is the year, Ron. 8-4 is not good enough for him. He needs to win 9 ball games.
No, 8-4 will be good enough. And once again, you only
9-3.
Finish half the sentence. What I said was, this is a year that the Florida game in the third week is a good schedule for him, because if he loses the North Carolina State game, he can come back and have Florida at home, and if he can beat Florida, then that's a bigger win than the North Carolina State.
If is a real big word.
Well, not really. I mean, Florida's not going to be
When's the last time we beat Florida?
Florida's probably not going to be a very good football team this year. That's the only time that counts is
When's the last time?
September.
Where is Hitch 15th. When I need him? Where's Hitch when I need him to call in?
What I'm saying is I think if you lose the North Carolina State game, because you can win the North Carolina State game and lose to Florida, and the fans are probably more riled than if you lose to North Carolina State and beat Florida.
Here's the only reason I'm saying it. He starts out with North Carolina State. He probably does beat Florida because the team will be. He'll have everything right there. He'll have everything right on the fan base, and it'll be a roll. I look for then, if that's a possibility, he could upset somebody down the road. Maybe a South Carolina that he upsets. Maybe a Georgia that he upsets. Instead of 8-4, could be looking at 9-3. My 6-6, I'm basing it right now just on the fact that who has Dooley really beat since he's been there? Come on.
No one.
That's exactly right. So he's got a.
Although he had LSU beat, he had LSU. All I'm saying to you is he's had situations.
Don't make me get the young lady in the back to get on the computer and pull that up. And I think beside Tennessee and LSU, it's got an L for Tennessee. Tennessee lost that game, right?
They did.
That's what I thought.
But I'm just saying, that's how close
is
he's been.
He has got to win the North Carolina State game. That game means as much to him as
I don't
any
think he has to
game
win it.
I don't
does. Think he has to win it.
He loses that game.
He's got a schedule this
year.
year.
He loses that game, he could go 5-7.
He's got a chance with a schedule this year to come back. And like I say, the Florida game to me is the key because it's week 3. It's early in the season. If you lose the North Carolina State game, you come back, you get Florida at home. That's a huge game already. It's an SEC game. It's an East game. Much bigger ramifications than the North Carolina
we
State
have a
game.
lot to talk about on the Friday night scoreboard.
8-4 is what I'm
6-6.
predicting for the Tennessee Vols this year. Don't forget the Fast Football Camp, June 11, 12, and 13 from 9 a.m. to lunch, ages 6 to 13. It's at Roane State Community College. $60 pre-registration fee, $65 the day of the camp. You got Coach Brackett, Coach Pankey, who's the new head coach at Austin East.
Congratulations.
And Coach John Webb. There'll be other folks coming in, some players, some other coaches coming in to talk to the campers. So give them a call. Coach Wally Brackett, 603-0549. Coach Webb, 603-1641. They'll get you a registration form, save you $5. Go ahead and get it in. They'll be teaching your youngsters a lot of good things, especially those real young guys that are going to be playing Pee Wee football. They'll learn them some stuff there. Coach Pankey, Webb, Brackett, others involved. Get out, get them.
That's 3 pretty. What's been the talk? And I hadn't talked to you since then. Since this happened, you were not here, and Marty was here with me. What's been the talk about Pankey taking the AE job and not? I don't know if the right word is being bypassed at Kingston for that job, or maybe he didn't want that job. Is there any talk or?
Well, I think there's a lot of excitement for him. I think a lot of folks probably in the Knoxville area are surprised that Austin East would go get a young coach that doesn't have any head coaching experience. That's a tough thing. The district that they're playing in is really tough. It's a place where tradition is really big. A lot of athletes, but you got to win.
Here's what I bet you. I bet you he brings discipline to the program.
And that's the key word. You're on the air.
Hey, what this? Want Hitch to call to back him up? What's Hitch done? Hitch ain't done nothing. All he's done is no SEC championship. No SEC championship. I listened to that for 10 years on Sports Talk.
Well, that's probably true. All I wanted, all I was trying.
SEC championship now. Where's your bowl game at now?
Well, what happened is
Hitch. Yeah, I know what happened.
What happened is Hitch one time agreed that the North Carolina State game was huge with my cohort here, and so he's looking for that same support.
Yep.
I just don't happen to think that it's. I think it's a big ball game. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think you can come back if you lose that game and beat Florida, and you're right back on schedule.
Well, I sure hope so, but I'm going to tell you something. I just don't put no confidence. He might talk good, and he might tell you all the stats, and he might tell you who's doing this and doing that, but I don't trust his judgment for nothing on this daggum stuff, because I done seen what happened when we got rid of Former.
Do you trust me?
We got rid of Cutcliffe, we got rid of Chavis. Now, Former was with the package, and Former was respectable. But the thing about it was we had the 2 best assistant offensive and defensive coaches in the country. And as long as people don't realize that, they just forget. Oh, I know, third and Chavis. You look how many daggum games we won with Chavis. How many games we won because of our defense. And when Cutcliffe left, what happened?
I don't know if you remember or not, but when they fired, which David was for him firing Fulmer, but my comment that night was, if you go back and you look at the next 10 years, there will not be a coach at Tennessee that wins as many games as Fulmer did, and that's going to be exactly right.
You daggum right. You remember when the show used to come on Sunday morning?
Yes.
Winning his coach percentage in the daggum nation.
Yes.
That used to be his trademark. But
Well, I've got them going 8-4 this year. How about you?
buddy, we got an awful soft schedule. We ought to go 8-4.
Well, that's what I'm counting on.
Yeah, but I also want to talk about Pearl. Your buddy there was talking about free throws for Pearl. I saw this is the first year we ain't been to the NCAA. We make the NIT.
Well, but now,
Pearl was back.
but a lot of that is Pearl's fault.
Well, yes, sir. I can't say anything about that. Yes, sir, it was. It was Pearl's fault. He got caught lying, and he shouldn't have lied, and had to store it. But hell, excuse me, I'm sorry. But he is sticking around over there at Hackney, that VP over there, and he is sticking around over there. I look for him to be back because I don't look for this fella to do nothing.
Oh, I don't think Pearl will be back at UT. You think he'll come back to UT?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't.
Want him back. I've heard too many say they want him.
I don't think that he can come back and do that.
Well, he's only what's he got? 2 more years of suspension?
Yeah. 2 or 3. I think it was 5 years.
No, it was 3 years.
Was it 3 years?
3.
Okay. Yeah. Then you're right then.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, he's not sticking around. I mean, he likes the area, but there's more to it than that. And
Well,
his coaching over there in Knoxville.
His wife is from Blount County, and he's got his kids are still here in Knoxville, and he had a chance to probably pick up some easy money at Hackney. So, and he wasn't going to get a job coaching. He's doing his radio gig, so he's in good shape.
Well, he's a motivator, and that's what we need. We don't have that now.
But I think Conzo Martin's going to be a good basketball coach.
What year?
I think you'll start. Well, I think you saw some of it this year.
Oh, I did. Yeah, they did real good this year. Yeah, they did real good. I thought they did real good.
I mean,
I'm just being sarcastic.
I know you are. But if you stop and look at what he lost and what he brought in, I mean, he beat Connecticut. He beat some teams that no one gave him any thought of beating, and he was picked 11th, I think, in the SEC and finished 2nd.
Yeah, he was. He almost won a lot of games, but he didn't win.
Like I say, he finished 2nd in the SEC.
Yeah, well, I just don't have any faith in him. I'm sorry, I don't. But I hope things turn around for him. But
it will.
Look for it.
It will. He's got a good recruiting class coming in next year, and I think you'll start seeing results immediately. He's got rid of some kids that give him some. It gives him some more room to bring some more in, and I believe he'll be fine.
Well, let me ask you a question. And you honestly don't think Pearl would come back or could come back?
I don't think so, no. First of all, even though his 3-year suspension will be up with the NCAA, whoever gives him a job is still going to be, they're still going to have the NCAA looking over his shoulder.
Well, that's true, but as long as he don't commit any violations, I say he's okay.
Well, you're exactly right, but stop and think. It's not just him now. He's going to have 3 or 4 assistants out there that could get caught doing something, and if they do, then you're right back in the same situation.
Well, he didn't run a tight ship, but I think he can run a tight ship. He did with his team.
Yeah, I think he can. I mean, there's no question.
Oh well.
I just think it's too tough. To to go through that again and bring him back.
Well, it's possible. I know a lot of people want him to come back.
Oh, I think the fans loved him, no question.
Oh, he was the most exciting thing that's come to Knoxville in a long time.
That's right.
But we'll still keep on rooting for Tennessee no matter what.
Hey, that's the way to do it. And appreciate you. Give us a call back.
All right, thank you.
Okay, buddy, thank you.
I'm glad to see that caller come over to my side. He's finally agreeing with me on a lot of things.
On what?
Just about everything. He agreed with me.
I didn't.
Usually he's on me, but
tonight
he's coming over on my side.
What did he agree with? I don't
That's
understand.
a good way to go into the dead period.
What did he agree with you on?
Everything. He's always on my own.
You must have misunderstood what he was saying.
No, I didn't misunderstand a word he said. He agreed with me on a lot of things, getting rid of Former and all that. He just didn't want to get rid of Cutcliffe.
He wasn't for getting rid of Former.
He just didn't want to get rid of Cutcliffe.
No, he wasn't for getting rid of Former.
Chavis. And Cutcliffe, as wanted to be a head coach. He didn't want to be assistant coach anymore. So glad that caller. He can think about that for the next 30 days. He's on my side.
You have
July, whatever. We'll be back. Right?
Crazy way of
Well, maybe I get some.
interpreting
While
stuff.
I'm off these next 30 days, I'll try to get some help.
I hope you do. Hope you do. Folks, we're going to take the month of June off. What Brad's going to try to do is I've asked him to try to pull some old ball games out and play some ball games on Wednesday night. Get you fired up, get you pumped up, because it's here, folks. It's here. When we come back, the passing league will start, and we'll be ready to go. Have a great June. We'll see you July. Good night, everybody.
There's only one thing better than owning a Simplicity lawn tractor or zero-turn mower, and that's purchasing it at your neighborhood Simplicity dealer. It's like getting a free outdoor power equipment expert who will help you select, operate, and maintain your equipment for years to come. So visit your local Simplicity dealer today and get a free expert with every purchase.
For all your ball, Reno's has it all. Reno's Sporting Goods offers the top name brands and the latest technology for every team athlete. Every day, we've given you 25 years of experience in our work. Come to Reno's.
If it's a private or business lunch you're after, the answer is simple. Rockwood